The SJ from OFB has been found guilty for his role in a murder at the barbershop.
In order to understand the rise and downfall of young OFB, we have to talk about the older generation of OFB. OFB is a gang based on the Broadwater Farm estate in Tottenham, North London. Broadwater Farm was one of London's most dangerous estates in the early 1990s and 2000s. The original OFB group goes back to the early 2000s and was originally named Star Gang. Prominent members of Star Gang were Heads and RV. OFB would begin to make a name for themselves in the 2010s, as younger rappers like Heads and RV would start releasing tracks. These songs would be uploaded to Pacman TV and would gain a lot of traction. OFB has had major beef with Wood Green 22 and Edmonton since the early 2000s. OFB has also had a deadly beef with NPK, Park Lane. This beef was mainly caused because of younger OFB. Here is an image of the surrounding gangs that OFB beef. They beef a lot of gangs around them and have very little allies. Old OFB songs included Youngers from Farm, which featured Young RV, Young Cash, and Heads, now known as Heady One. Back during these times, it was common to see an OFB member jump on a track with an NPK member, like RV and Stretch did when they made songs. This was because the sets did not beef and had the same enemies, that being Wood Green and Edmonton. An incident that caused tension between NPK and OFB in the early 2010s was when RV and Stretch, NPK, would get caught by Wood Green, and RV would leave Stretch to get stabbed. This caused beef with the olders of OFB and NPK, but they decided to dead the beef due to the youngers being close and having family relations between NPK and OFB. This situation resulted in Stretch, NPK, making a direct diss track responding to RV's most popular song at the time. Stretch would diss RV a lot in this song.
Show you that he ain't G. RV's never done a dirt, he's a baby. Killing cuz how the fuck are you repping the farm blocks full of certified G's? One of them you are not, and I'm the artist. Snake me fam, now you made yourself a target. And your niggas are trying to save your arse, you got two little bangs.
In February 2018, an OFB song named Bruck It was uploaded to Press Play Media. This song had an older member named Cash, who was a well-known older in OFB, rapping alongside Bandokay, who was around 17 at the time, Double LZ, who was 16 at the time, and Boogie B and YS, who were both unknown youngers. OFB fans were really starting to see potential in the younger set of OFB and wanted to hear more. 3 weeks after Bruck It was uploaded to YouTube, Boogie B would be at an Airbnb party with a few other younger OFB members. Another North London GM named Dottz, who was from 51st, was also at the party and would end up being chased down and being stabbed 13 times. Boogie B was arrested and was originally sentenced to 18 years in jail. This is why on a lot of OFB tracks we hear the phrase "Free Boogie Bando."
Yeah, free Boogie B, free Boogie, free cash, trust me.
Young OFB would keep uploading tracks to YouTube, including Double L's, Spilling, and a mdot freestyle, which was the first time we would see Bandokay and Double L's on a duo freestyle. Fans loved this and would push Double L's and Bandokay to make more songs with each other. In October 2018, a younger OFB member named SJ, who was around 16, would jump on a drill song with Bandokay and Double L's. This was a surprisingly hard song, considering this was SJ's first ever song. This song was gaining a lot of traction when it came out, and now sits at 5.6 million views on YouTube. Double L's, Bandokay, and SJ would continue to make songs as a trio, and drop some of the most legendary UK drill songs. In December 2018, they dropped Reality, which sits at 8 million views currently. In February 2019, they dropped a Next Up freestyle, which sits at 24 million views. And later on in 2019, they dropped Ambush, which has the most views out of any OFB song ever. Unfortunately, SJ would not be able to see this success, as in February 2019, him and 4 other NPK members would plan a ride out. They would all pedal bike from OFB's block to Wood Green. They would spot some Wood Green members. SJ and the NPK members would catch up to Swift Wood Green, and they would shoot him in the bum and stab him. K1, who was in his car, would attempt to save Swift by driving into the gang. K1 would jump out of his car and run into a hair salon where SJ and the NPK GMS would corner him and kill him. RIP K1. After this, SJ would keep rapping with the trio and would jump on a Tim Westwood crib session. During this freestyle, SJ was phoned and told he was wanted by police for the murder of K1. You can see when he finds out in the crib session. During the trial, an NPK member named Dsavv, who was present at the murder, would snitch on the NPK members and SJ. This would cause tension between OFB and NPK. During the sentencing of the members, a fight would break out in the courtroom between SJ and the NPK members. This really shows how bad this road life is. Before SJ was arrested, he was offered a £150,000 record deal, but he chose the roads instead. SJ was sentenced to a life sentence with a minimum of 21 years. This was a huge loss for YOFB. However, songs SJ had recorded before the murder would start to drop. This included Youngest in Charge, which would get 33 million views. This was one of the most viewed solo drill songs of all time. Lz and Bandokay would continue to make songs together after SJ was jailed. They would release drill songs like OT Boppin' and YKTV, with a new OFB younger named IzzPot. IzzPot had a special flow and a very addictive rhyming pattern which made him stand out. He would go viral with Bandokay and Lz after jumping on the song as a feature. Bandokay and Lz were really the hardest duo, but the duo wasn't as successful as it previously was with SJ, due to SJ being extremely versatile and hard on tracks. In October 2020, IzzPot would be stabbed in the eye in Enfield. It was rumored he was stabbed by 3x3 members. OFB has had a major beef with 3x3 for years. They also have heavy beef with NPK, which is crazy considering NPK has the same enemies as OFB. A few other OFB youngers would start rapping in 2019, these being Dsavv, who was only 14 at the time, and AKZ, who was 15. Dsavv had a lot of potential, but his voice was very squeaky.
Cop it, stock it, pop it, get round there with a pocket rocket. Man, plug that shank, no socket.
When Dsavv's voice got deeper, he would start dropping very rude freestyles, dissing ops consistently.
Big Sav, my boss, my age, man, speak straight facts, no lying. Man's coming for you like switch, and I look in the sky, see bear man flying.
AKZ was also dropping during these times. These two would start dropping, and would find a lot of success up until 2023, when Dsavv would be arrested for carrying out knife-point robberies, stealing up to £100,000. He was given 6.5 years. He will most likely be out in 2025, where we can see more music from him. However, AKZ is still free and dropping consistently. His most recent song has 200k views with Bandokay. Lz has also allegedly left OFB recently, as he has stopped putting OFB in his name. Similarly to what Blanco did with Harlem Spartans, I think leaving OFB is probably the best option for Lz, as this life only really leads to two outcomes: jail or death. Bandokay was arrested a few days ago on gun charges. He is looking at 13 years in jail for this, which really shows how pointless this life is. Bandokay has songs with millions of streams and probably has a few mil in his account, but he is still trying to keep up with this road life. SJ has also started dropping from jail. With his Plugged In he dropped a few weeks ago. This song has already hit 1 million views. This just shows how well-known YOFB is up until this day. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Let me know things I have missed in the comments.